Okay, guys. Sorry, but from the other day, I didn't finish on the Masonic Order. I didn't finish that. There was another part to it that my computer just died, and it didn't save it. So anyway, I'm gonna go back into it and finish that up, because in the last one I said I'm gonna talk about furthermore about what happens to the harvested frequency that's harvested here. And one thing that I didn't use or didn't say, and I assume that everybody that would watch this video would understand, that all ascension teachings are equals harvest. So everything that's ascension is meaning they will take your quanta. The higher self will take the quanta from the lower incarnate, because um, this is what ascension is. It's basically feeding the higher self. And we know all the symbols are everywhere. They kind of are very revealing. So here I have all this Freemason, and they have a lot of the religious and all kinds of stuff, and very important, the Merkaba field, because this is how they harvest. And then this the Christ cross, which is the self-sacrifice mark as well. This is why people wear it on their center, the self-sacrifice mark. This is why the cross is very popular for people that are on self-sacrifice path, because it's a self-sacrifice mark. Okay, it's marking the self-sacrifice path. And when you connect that, there's also a 23.4 degree connection there. And the reason that 23.4 degree is so important is because of that closing the stargates, that the planet closed herself. It's not, they kind of did it because they overdone on the harvest in Atlantis, but it was the planet that actually did it. And from that time on, it all became about turning that back so the harvest can be good. Because the last harvest, as Ashayana Dean said, for the whole 12 Aurora races, it was only 900 years. It's a drop in the ocean compared to other harvests, and as much as they could harvest from this planet. But this is a very popular right here, a very popular harvesting cycle. Okay, so we've seen this everywhere. This is the dragon races. A dragon is feeding on its own lower incarnates. Okay, this is what it's all about. I mean, these symbols could be very simple. Because when you take the illusion of separation down for yourself first, you will see the simplicity of things. I know people make it so complicated. The reason it needs to be complicated is to reinforce and protect the illusion. But if you bring down the illusion within yourself, you can see it very, very simple, how simple it is. In a way, Masonic Order is very simple. Because picture right here depicts, I mean, you can write a whole book about it. But right here, you look at that and you know what this is. This is a harvesting cycle. Okay? This is a harvesting cycle. It's harvesting their own. And most of the time, that's what they do. They're harvesting their own. It even talks about it in the Bible, how they are harvesting their own. So this is very popular. Everybody knows about it. It does have all these other things included. It has more complicated ones, but it still has that reptilian eating its own tail. Okay, and then always Merkaba field. Merkaba field is very important. The moon and the sun is very important. There is more here because this is also draconian harvest and Anunnaki harvest. So this is an interesting one, but I'm not gonna worry about it for right now because it's too much details. Let's just first kind of see it the simple things. It's almost like when you want to see a bigger picture of this, because right now when you bring down that illusion of separation, what happens? Your picture becomes a much bigger. So when you concentrate on little one piece of that puzzle, which is this big picture that has many puzzles, pieces to it, when you concentrate on that one puzzle, exactly who's this, who's that, you know, and what kind of race is this, you know, because like I said, Anunnaki is very difficult to you know, depict, and if we concentrate too much on that, we lose the sight of bigger picture here. So that's what I'm saying, like, because the reason why it's so difficult with Anunnaki, okay, is because I'll tell you, you know, here's Anunnaki frequency. This is one Anunnaki frequency. It doesn't have its own frequency here on the planet. Okay, I'm gonna look, like, show you here. Okay, it doesn't have a frequency on the planet, okay, on its own. It mixes with this, and then it mixes with this, you know, it mixes with green, and then it mixes with aqua Dracula's. But it's the same frequency here, the Anunnaki is same, but it's gonna look very different than this, you know, and this Anunnaki will look very different than the one that's mixed with green. So, and then there's so many of them that are mixed, and then this Anunnaki frequency is completely different than this one, but yet they're also mixed with aqua, and you would think that this one and this one would be the same, but they won't be. So that's why Anunnaki is so difficult to go into, and at this point I don't think we need to. We might, later on, we might need to go into that and figure all that out, all these layers. But right now, we can concentrate on that one piece of the puzzle, because our picture of after bringing down that illusion of separation just became twice as bigger. Okay, so that's why, yes, there is Anunnaki including here in this, but because it's all together, you know, this is a more complicated symbol for harvest. But I just wanted to show you that it's out there, and there is probably going to be time when we can go in there, and there's people from those 15% that probably have a lot of knowledge about this right here. But I think right now we should still, for now at least, stick to the basics, okay? And you know, there's another one that I want to go back to, more basics ones. Okay, we see this symbol and we're, you know, a lot of people are confused, oh, it's so evil and so. It's very simple symbol to me, okay, because because when you do have a bigger view on the bigger picture, without the illusion of separation, you can see this is pretty much, it depicts, it's an astral level of the being, okay. People a lot of times here, when they go in astral level, they find themselves that they're either connected or have some sort of, or sometimes they say it's my guardian. It's some kind of weird animal, you know, and they talk about how, you know, there's lions, there's all this stuff, because like I said, Anunnaki races, there's many of them. It's not just 5 races, because they mixed and you know, it's just a big mess. And so there is, Anunnaki races are going to be mostly have some kind of animal, you know, their soul level is some kind of animal. This is very simple, okay, because when a race incarnates, you know, their soul, this is an animal, this is a bull or whatever they call it, the goat head. This is how they look on a soul level, because they do have a physical look. It's only that, so what happens is, it shows you that the soul is in the head, and this is its true nature. This is how it truly looks, you know. It had, you know, and then right here you have a human body, okay. And so this is what happens. This is very simple. It shows you that this right here, this is Anunnaki mixed with reds, okay. This is why this is connected to red. So this is the first layer of Anunnaki, okay, right here. This is this Anunnaki right here, okay. So right here it depicts for you the very nature of soul incarnation. This is an Anunnaki soul incarnated into a physical body, okay? And then it shows you how it incarnates and what it needs. This is just an identity. And right here, they show that, yeah, this is an identity of this person, whoever this is, Washington or whoever. It's just their identity. They're showing to them. And because they know the astral levels, because they serve the astral levels, and that's why it's right here. And because it reads, and then there you have that star that has 23.4 degrees all over the place. So this is the red Anunnaki mix that is just basically showing you who they are, who they truly are here on the planet. You know, they don't worship this as yeah, they worship their own higher selves. That's their master. So this is their master, and it lives in their head, and it controls them through their head. But they do have a human body. So that's just like the basic. There's a lot more details here that actually tells you the secret. See, the moon is white here, and it is a dark moon. So you see the duality here. But it's moon, not sun and moon. So this is interesting too. But again, I'm not going to go into all the details because there is no point to do that right now. Okay? So we can move on. And there is more, you know, like this one. It's a very good explanation of harvest because it shows you here. Here's draconian, and here's the layers. Okay? And here's the layers to the physical. And at the center, you see the water. Why is the water here depicted in the center? See how it looks like earth and it's water? I'll tell you why. Because harvest, how does harvest happen? Harvest happens because the planetary body is just like our body. They harvest through the fourth chakra. Okay? Through the center, actually. Not the fourth chakra. This is why they have to bring that heart, that's whole another story. This is why when you see that Jewish candle, it's going to have Merkaba field right here, because this is where, through the center, they actually suck you through the center. Okay? And this is why it has that. This is a harvesting portal. So it goes through the center. That's why Christians wear the cross right on the center, in their chest. That's where your center is. Then the first body that your center is surrounded by, and I show you this: mental body, emotional body, physical body chakras. This is all very mathematical. So it's really just, it's the formula. So, and this is emotional body. So where is your emotional body? Is fourth chakra. It's first. That's why when you operate from the center, first it hits your feelings, it hits your emotional body. Any information you get in through your center, it's going to hit your emotional body first. And so, to harvest a body, a physical body of a person or a planet, the first in the center is emotional. And water is what? It's our emotional body. So this is, I mean, it's not that difficult. It's just, it's a lot more, it's simple in a way, because it's just, there's a formula to it, okay? So, and then you see the Star of David, you know, right here. And this is all depicts all the layers of, you know, this is, because the head a lot of times represents the astral level. So that's why there is a head right here on the top, okay? And when you look down here, it's about similar. And so this is a Godhead. And so this is, I mean, it's just, it's everywhere. And then, you know, here is again, dragon thing, or a snake that's eating its own tail. So this is, they show you, we harvest through Merkaba field. It's very important to harvest, okay? Then, you know, on the symbols, more on the symbols. But anyway, I'm going to go into what happens after harvest next.